So what I want to talk about is permaculture and regeneration, because that's something that has kept me captive for the past 20 years. I'm 30 years in the Philippines. And if you look at the words permaculture and regenerations, they are both the same. Basically, it's about how to create a permanent culture and how to regenerate landscapes in time, in due time. And I think that's something that clicked with me about 20 years ago when we started the Philippine Permaculture Association, because basically you see that landscapes are deteriorating. People are looking for livelihoods, really livelihoods, not just to earn money, but to kind of make sure that the landscape will provide them with livelihoods for a long time to come. And it struck me that there was no proper program that could address this kind of needs for people. And I realized that permaculture has kind of built in the capacity for people to become the masters of their own environment and to create livelihoods and jobs right in front of their own eyes. And I think in that process of these 20 years, we built a lot of organizations. And we started with Kabyogit Foundation. We went on with Philippine Permaculture Association, brilliant permaculture practices. And now recently, we're also into very specific cooperatives or collectives like the Bamboo Collective, where we really focus on one material and give people, again, the power and the capacity to own their means of production and to create something beautiful with it. So in the process of doing that, we're adding skills. We train people in how to use bamboo, how to use natural materials, how to use soil, how to build with less intrusive materials as well. And then we stumbled upon a town in Mindanao, Dumingag, where there is a local government that is really willing to listen to the people and work with the people. And so we started investing in landscapes, because basically it was a mined and a locked area. So we could only start from zero there and build up again the landscape. We added energy by creating riparian projects, by protecting the watersheds. And then even to go to the level of working with the town center. And that's an amazing project, because at the moment you get to that core of where people come together, where they trade goods, and then you kind of recreate, redesign that kind of core of the community using permaculture principle. That's an amazing feat, because then you see how people start changing, how they look at nature in a different way. And the more I see with having the COVID and the pandemic in the background and climate change looming at the back, permaculture is something that we need to infuse in all the things we do. And what we said as PPA, as Philippine Permaculture, it's let's regenerate ecosystem-based abundance, because the abundance is there in nature. What we need to make thriving communities, sustainable communities, it's all there. We just need to understand it, to see it, and then bring it back to us. So look at your ecosystem and use it as the basis to designing buildings, to designing platforms that are going to be useful for people. And also do the biodiversity approach, maximize the energies that are in the landscape and not reversing it by landscaping around buildings that we build. See what is already there and build accordingly. And gently you push back or you integrate nature in the things that we are building. And then it's all about attractive patterns, because nature is beautiful. Every time we take a stroll in nature, we see so many things. We are amazed, we are happy. Green makes us calm, relaxed. So the more we kind of look at how nature creates patterns of connectivity, of cooperation, and if we can bring that back, we can create and revive dead landscapes. I think if we include systems thinking, which is the basic pattern of thinking and moving in nature, then I think we have the right development approach ahead of us. And I think we can't go wrong doing that if we want to make sure that climate change is not going to wreck our communities, but it's going to be a challenge that we can overcome if we know how to tap into the right energies. And that word of regenerations, it's really focusing on four aspects that we do a lot with biodiversity. Look at wildlife. The Philippines is amazing. It's biodiverse. It's a hot spot. Let's remove the word hot and focus on a spot, a biodiversity spot. It's about health. It's about being well supported, and it's about well-being. The abundance of flora and fauna that we have, and look at the fruit trees that are untapped potentials in this country, because most of the fruits we are eating right now are exotics. brought in for a long time ago by the colonization. But we have so many native fruit trees that we still need to start looking at and adapting to. Annual crops, relaxing and rewarding, also the well-being of human beings. Look at the pandemic. We need the open air. We need open spaces for us to thrive again. Green jobs. Government is jumping on it, and we have been jumping on this already for the past 20 years. Make juices with it, create beautiful products with bamboo, build houses with it, show people that it's possible. And even if government is not yet ready or other entities are not yet ready, let's work with it. We improve bamboo as a material you can build and live in for 20 years instead of 2 years, and then people give up because it is being eaten by termites or something like that. It is possible if we invest in it, and if we do the innovations and the research focused on what nature can offer us. And then, of course, climate. Be resilient. Make sure there is productivity. Create that balance, and make sure if you protect the habitat, that nature will also protect you. So it's about beautiful and careful connections with living and non-living components, and then build something amazing. And everyone can do that. And that's what we try to teach to people, because we feel it's important. It's an important step for us to move on from a current worklook and a current system to a system that is much more sensitive and inclusive than it was before. So permaculture is really action. It's taking action in the sense that we can create these amazing landscapes where everyone can thrive. And it's not just about human beings, because we will not be happy standing alone in nature. We need nature to be with us. We need the responses of the forest and all the animals. So it's really about empowering communities and regenerating landscapes. And if you look at, for me, the model that all kinds of, or the model that encompasses everything, is basically that infinity model. That's how energy moves through a system. And if we understand that in the way we build and we treat nature currently, is really looking at a no-waste system where we make minimal use or abuse of the natural materials. We cycle that into products, or materials first and products, and then we bring it to consumers until we kind of let it go when it's at the end of its cycle, but it doesn't produce any waste. And we all know, if the more we get smart on building renewable systems and renewable products, the better we are wired again to protect us from the future, because less pollution, if we can keep the plastics out of the ocean, all of these things are embedded in the way we deal with permaculture, and the way we want permaculture to be the essence of the word, like create a permanent culture for people to thrive and to be in, and to ensure that we are not hitting our head against a wall. And that's what we tell every time we go to communities. The answers are there. They are staring us in the eye. They are staring you in the eye. Just use it. Use nature. Prickle the energies that are surrounding you and your community. And interact with it in a gentle way, and then build your own products, build your own uniqueness. I think as a last statement, what the Philippines should realize, it's an amazingly beautiful and diverse country, has or had so many languages. Whatever we can preserve of the culture, it can only happen if people are taking some pride into it. And if people are discovering what is unique in my place, what is unique in Palawan, what is unique in Luzon, what is unique in Mindanao. All of these places have so much to offer. But if we make them and turn them, as we currently do, in monocultures, fast monocultures, we are not going to make it. We are not going to hit the mark of creating a kind of diverse and balanced ecosystem. And we miss the boat on regenerations. And if that's going to happen, then climate change will be wreaking a lot of havoc in this country. So what we want to do with permaculture and focusing on regeneration is to create that balance and to make sure that there is abundance for everyone to live in this country for many, many years to come. So that's the essence, I think, of how we deal with permaculture and how we try to build jobs from bottom up, and inviting people from outside eventually to come and help, if funds are needed, to help them to create these products, to help them to find the markets to share these products with a larger audience, but to ensure that the survival of the communities, the survival of the races and the cultures are built in everything we do.